this a few times.
Hi, I'm Bran, and I love Hallmark passport movies.
Hi.
Go ahead, stamp it.
Brian.
Stamp it.
I like Hallmark passport movies.
I'm Dan, and I despise Hallmark passport movies, and this is the Deck
Deck
the
the
Hallmark
Hallmark
podcast.
Deck the
Hallmark,
Hallmark.
notaries?
It's his podcast.
This movie deserves them, though.
Brandon and friends host this podcast.
Oh, the music. You're pretty good at this, Brad.
Hi, everybody. It is
boy.
great to be here
Sure is.
today.
Yeah, it is. 5
Another
o'clock
week.
somewhere.
It's 5 o'clock somewhere.
Yeah,
Now, I know, guys, it has only been a few days since we saw each other. We had a whole
course.
week last
Yeah,
week.
no.
sure did, man.
Feels
Full
like
week.
it's been longer.
Feels like it's been a long
Feels
time.
like it's been
How you
longer.
guys doing?
Great.
Doing great.
Brandon, you
Doing
look like
great.
you got a little sun.
Do I? Because I was actually
Face does
this
look red.
morning.
Is that a
okay,
rash?
I walked
Did you break
into
it
the
out?
bathroom, and I'm like, I can't wait to show everybody how nice and tan I am. I went to the beach. Was out by the sun, and I looked at the mirror, and I'm like, I look whiter than ever.
You don't ever look like you've gotten sun. I honestly don't ever think you look like you've gotten sun, no matter how much you've been out there.
You spend a lot of time in the sun?
I mean, I was outside a good bit. Yeah, I mean, I was at the beach. I was at the
Sun's
beach.
afraid of you, man.
Yeah.
Sun's afraid
Sun
of you.
don't want none.
Sun doesn't even know. Sun doesn't even know what hit him.
You're going to go with it.
Yeah.
Aaron, how you doing?
Womp womp. We fired Aaron, everybody.
We did it.
This is so sad.
Yeah.
This is sad.
Yeah.
All
Yeah,
right.
it is sad. The Aaron cam is working, but
Yeah.
Aaron is not. She is on
Maybe she'll be
vacay
back
this
tomorrow.
week.
Maybe she'll be back tomorrow
Oh,
for
you
One Goes
think
the Heart.
so?
We'll see.
We'll see what
see.
happens.
I don't know. Guys, can I ask you a quick question?
Yeah.
If you were having a bad day,
Yeah.
say your boss,
Yeah.
maybe,
You wanna
Push you
call
over the
him
limit.
pushed you
something?
over the edge a little
Yeah.
bit.
Would you call it like I?
How
sometimes
would you handle it? Dan, how would you handle that?
I would. My first inclination would be to call him.
Call him something. Absolutely.
Like a
Put it on the
name.
board.
What would
Yeah.
you call him?
I can't even think I can say it on
Top
this
five,
podcast.
top five answers on the board.
But I think I'd probably just call it a day.
Yeah.
Is what I would
You
end
call
up
it a
doing.
day?
Yeah. I'd
Wow.
just say, you know what? It's Tuesday afternoon. It's Tuesday morning.
Yeah. Early.
I'm going to head down to the local watering hole.
Yeah.
That's what I'm going to do.
Bigger man.
Okay.
Yeah.
bigger man.
Yeah.
Are you going to come back? I'm confused.
I have a few drinks, I think.
Calm down a little.
I have a few drinks.
You wouldn't drive, would you?
No. Cab. This cab situation.
You gotta like jump in it, hop in it,
I
crawl
would.
it.
Well, on the way there, I'd just get in the cab. I'd be like,
Right.
I'm calling it
Yeah.
a day. After a few
there
drinks-
you go again saying that.
Yeah.
I'm calling it a day.
That's right.
To me implies you're done.
But
Done
I'm
for the
leaving
day.
my car there just in case.
Yeah.
Okay.
I go down. Maybe I drive down to the bar.
I think you might
Maybe I
drive
down to
down.
the bar.
We
and
don't-
then
You might not.
all of a sudden, maybe you've had one too many
Yeah.
morning beverages.
Absolutely.
Afternoon.
Tuesday noon beverages. Maybe you've had one too many.
Mm-hmm.
And then you're like, you know what? I just left work. I just bailed on work completely.
Well, you did say you were calling it. You
I did.
said I'm
but I
calling
mean, I
it a
didn't
day.
fill out a PTO request. I
Oh,
didn't
and
do,
so you do want to follow the rules.
Irresponsible.
yeah. So now it's like if I show back up for work, people will think I just took a long lunch.
You know, I just read an article.
I can salvage this thing.
Yeah.
I just read an article about how Gen Xers
Yeah.
aren't taking PTO. Instead, because of hybrid, they're working from home and
That's
they're
right.
just moving their mouse around.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that their Slack stays available.
Yeah.
Smart, shady, who can say?
Yeah.
Who can say?
can say?
Anyway,
Yeah.
well,
I think all I know is this.
so
is
it's
that
too, so okay.
points.
Hypothetically,
You've had something tall and strong.
Hypothetically, you've had some tall and strong. Maybe you've poured a couple back. It gets around 2 o'clock.
No,
So
no,
obviously,
no,
at this
no,
point,
no.
I don't think it's
no,
there yet.
I
Are
think
you
at
there
the end of my
yet?
lunch break at 1, I realized in an hour I've hammered 4 or 5 tall boys. And,
So you're still doing math.
And I'm still doing math, and I go, if I paid off the bill right now, I could get in a cab, stumble out to a cab somewhere,
Pour into it.
and get back to my job as an air traffic controller or something else very important. I could be back.
I hope not.
I could be back before 2. And
How far away is the bar you went to?
you got to pay off the tab.
Okay.
Cab, 30
takes
minutes.
time.
Who knows?
Grab
and
a
then
burrito.
it just looks like a long lunch, a 12 to 2 lunch. But then
you were meeting with a client.
Yeah, so you have a decision to make right then and there.
The plane. You were meeting with the plane.
It's either you've got it's still a long lunch, and I've had a few.
Right.
I'm going to go back to work just hammered out of my mind. Or I could ask one very simple question.
What is it?
What would Jimmy Buffett do?
It's a good question.
What would he do in this situation?
Those are your only
What
options?
would the guy from Margaritaville
In
do?
this state of mind, there's only two options.
Yeah.
What do you think you would say?
I think he'd say, keep going, keep going hard.
Yeah.
Why?
Because it's 5 o'clock somewhere.
Full speed ahead. Full throttle.
Full throttle.
I get it. Today we're talking about Love and Honey,
Well, we did
the
that.
first of the Passport to Love, whatever this month is, Passport season, Passport time.
Yeah, I think you got it, right?
Passport to Love?
I think it is.
And that's where we're going to spend the month out at sea and other lands as well, and see what the world has to offer. Today we're heading to Malta.
Sure are.
Now,
Do you know about Popeye?
Have you heard?
Whoa.
now Brian,
Ryan got more information than you ever wanted to hear in your
I have
life.
a PowerPoint. If
I
you
am
guys,
so
if you could bear me the time.
I'm so excited to hear your thoughts on
That
this.
whole 5 o'clock somewhere thing, that was your PowerPoint.
Oh.
Yeah.
Sorry, go ahead.
I'm so excited to hear your thoughts on this. But before we do, if you missed Love and Honey, head on over to Philo.tv /DTH. This movie, it's on demand. You can snag it, and then you can watch us talk about the movie and so much more this week over on Philo. For my buck, and here, you want to know what Philo's doing, which is crazy. Yeah, I just saw this news come across the wire. Maybe you've been like, I keep hearing you talk about Philo. Is it really that good? They're rolling out a free version of Philo where they have 70 channels that you can watch, and with that comes its own DVR.
What? For free?
Now this doesn't include like Hallmark or any of the channels like
free.
that, but it's free. So maybe you just kind of want to check out, like, I wonder what the user interface is of Philo or whatever. Like, is it a good experience? I say it's a great experience, but if you want to give it a shot, you can do
love
that. So lots going on over at Philo.
Do we
is all
make
I'm
the
trying to say.
free version?
We're not. No. We're
We're premium?
We're premium.
Sorry, folks.
We're premium. Yeah, I combed that press release over. Ready to rock and roll.
Kind of
Love,
nice though, huh?
Love and Honey. Love and Honey. What is it? When did it air?
Two great questions. What would Jimmy Buffett do?
What
That's question
is
one.
this month? It aired. I'm not going to look at the calendar. It aired on June
Get Aaron's calendar.
the 1st.
Where she
June
wrote
the 1st, yes.
Right?
June the 1st, yes.
June the 1st. Passport month.
Passport.
Passport. And it went a little something, like this. What's happening?
It fell once
Okay.
I threw it. the
pretty
second
psyched
time.
about
I'm
Passport
just
month.
so thrilled about
So this woman is on her moped, her scooting around, just riding around, looking awesome. She had a green jacket on, and if somebody could point me in the direction of that green jacket, your boy would be much inclined to buy it.
This is how you know we've got nothing.
Cut to Austin. Cut to Austin, not Jane Austin, but not Austin, Texas. A fella named Austin who's given a lecture at some school. He's a doctor of archaeology, if you will. Don't come to him with your flesh wounds unless it's a bone, because they uncover some archaeologies. I thought it was a little bit
Archaeology.
funny.
They uncover some archaeology.
Yeah.
That's what's buried.
That's what it's
We find out that he is
Sometimes it's just sitting on top of the ground.
he is in Malta. He is trying to get a lot of stuff because he has to basically for my money, and you guys can correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah, you sound
but
right.
he's in Malta and he's trying to come up with something that he could do research on for his job and get tenured. He needs to get tenured. It's all about that sweet 10-10.
Absolutely.
As we call it
We do. We
in
always
the
have.
academia. So
in academia.
her name. He's walking.
Nut to the macadamia.
So he's walking around and almost gets hit by a scooter lady. Scooter lady swerves out of the way. She crashes, and a pretty cool crash, I might say. Shout out to
This is
the
like
stunt.
the first scene of the movie we're still talking about.
It's gonna be so long.
The academia nut.
No one writes synopses like I do. Her name is Ava, and her stunt double crushed it. They squabble a bit. They go on their own way. We find out that she is a beekeeper. She's very concerned about the future of bees. Why, Brian?
This is important.
They are our future.
Why?
What can wasps do?
They can buzz off.
They can buzz right off.
Absolutely. All the way off.
Die a slow death, wasps.
Yep.
Wow.
Yep.
That's
Heard it here
serious.
first.
But yeah, the bees are pretty serious. And if people keep squashing the bees, we're not going to have anything for anybody.
That's right.
That's my
No bees, no us.
That's my basic
Save the
understanding.
cheerleader, save the world.
That's
No
exactly
bees,
right.
no
That's right.
us.
That's exactly
And
right.
actually, saving the bees is a save the cheerleader, save the world situation, but it really would save the world from that one thing. This actually makes save the cheerleader, save the world make sense.
Yeah. Honestly, yeah, you're right. It's pretty amazing.
It
Some
is.
might say unbelievable.
Believable. Amazing.
Hey!
Yeah.
Zig-zang!
Yeah.
Oh,
Bye.
man. Okay, anywho.
Sorry.
She's a
Any
beekeeper. She's a beekeeper, and she's very concerned about the future of bees. So one day, she comes to where Austin is working. He's like got papers everywhere, like where's this and where's that. He's kind of like Nick Cage in National Treasure, but like way less
Boring.
exciting. Because I don't really know what he's looking. He's just looking at stuff, being like, man, that's crazy. And so
that's not a fresco.
he's swatting away at this bee. He's swatting away at this bee, guys. This is funny, but let me get through
Kill a bee.
it. Let's save it for later when we can really
buzz.
save it for later so we can really look at it. It's funny.
save it for later.
It's save it. It's funny. So he's swatting bees away, and she's like, "Don't you freaking dare do that! Don't swat bees." She captures the bee, brings it outside, releases it so she can see where
Catch
the
it
bee.
outside.
So catch it outside. How about how is that? And the bees are right freaking there. And he's like, he sees where the bee
They
goes.
weren't like in pure sight, like very obvious.
so
though, right?
clear, so clear with it,
You know,
so
pure,
clear,
pure clear sight.
Pure,
unadulterated sight.
clear sight. So
Good
this,
stuff. That's good vision.
so this hive is on a wall, and our guy Austin is real into this wall. He's like, "Oh my gosh, this wall is amazing," and the next day, she's there doing more bee stuff, and she's like scraping for some reason, and she accidentally scrapes a little too hard because she's startled by Austin. And Austin sees that behind it, with the plaster and whatnot, is a paint. And he gets more excited than Brian does when he looks at a picture of Popeye. And just super
Which is
pumped
hard to
about
do.
this.
Not possible.
So scrapes it all off, wipesy go daisies, and the painting, best I can figure, is it's a mystery in and of itself, and it's also, in a sense, a map that'll help him find what he needs to for his research for tenure.
Yeah, for tenure.
For tenure.
Tenure.
She agrees to help him with this, since she knows the area, and maybe in all of this, bees will be saved too.
Yeah.
I think that's
Bee
pretty
saved.
big.
Yeah, save the bees.
So they're hanging out a ton. One night they go for a stroll. They end up kissing. Oh my gosh, what about it? Well, I'll tell you what about it. She's not so sure that was a good idea. And so she tries to just be like, nothing happens, nothing bigs. So they're going to all these places, they're doing all these things. Eventually, somehow, and I'm sure Brian will get into it, but they end up at a pile of rocks. And these rocks are dope, and we love them.
straight to it, huh?
We then take the rocks away. They climb down, and down there is a box. What is in that box?
Nothing.
And what this proves is that the people from Michigan brought the bees over from Michigan. Those are Michigan bees.
No, Malta
Malta
bees.
bees.
The Malta bees
To Michigan.
To Michigan.
Transplant.
They didn't
Trans-
go to the Great Lakes, grab some
Immigrated.
bees, and take them to Malta.
I thought that they did, though.
No.
I thought that
This
the empty
proves that
box proved that they brought them over
Michigan
and
was
released
born
them.
of
These are
Malta
Malta.
bees.
Michigan's not known for
Any
its
way you
honey.
slice it or dice it, there's bees in Malta, and she's like related to the bees in a sense. If you trace it further enough,
The three main
if you trace the
bees,
three,
yeah.
she's
Yes.
related to
The
three
three bees.
three
Not
wise
that bee.
bees. It's like, you guys know the Christmas story. It's like that, but
Yes.
with bees.
Exactly.
So it's like that. So they hop out of the rocks and they're like, "This is amazing." He's like, "Guess what? I gotta go." And she's like, "No problem. No sweat off my brow, pal." And he's like, "I got a 10-year. You know what I mean? I got to go 10-10.
Yeah.
So
10-10.
he does go to 10-10. Flash forward one month, and he's back. He's wearing B hat.
Not B suit.
Not B suit, but B hat.
He's comfortable now.
And I'm like, behave. and so he's like, guess what, everybody? I'm on now sabbatical. Sabbatical called, and it's wanting me to sab here.
Sabbatical.
I'm going to sab right here, right now. And so they celebrate by kissing, and I think she saves the bees.
Sure.
It's
Pretty
looking
sure
good.
about that.
It's
And that,
looking
my
good.
friends, was Love and Honey.
It's
Yep.
for Love and Honey, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. We get it.
For King and Country, for Love and Honey. Let's
We
take a
get it.
quick break, and we'll be right back here on
Deck the Hallmark.
Salvage
So
the whole
solid.
thing.
Oh my goodness. Wow.
Welcome back. We're talking for Love and Honey.
Yeah.
The first of the Passport series, so stamp it if you watched it.
Stamp it.
If
If you didn't watch
should've-
it, don't stamp it.
Hallmark, you missed the boat here, bro. For not sending out like
Yeah.
passports for everybody, and you just get a stamp for each movie you watch.
So did we.
Uh-oh. Am I the marketer?
You check on
Were
your
you
arm
looking under your arms?
Yeah.
Looking for a
Everyone
passport?
knows this. That's how you see one.
Check for marketers.
So we've got 4 segments here on Deck the Hallmark, and we're going to start with the very first one. The first one is called The Hot
Oh,
Take.
the
As
hot
we
take. Look
at
share exactly how we felt about this movie, we do not hold back, and I'm going to start with my good friend Brian. Brian, what did you think of For Love and Honey?
Love and Honey.
Here we go.
Well, no Popeye's Village, so strike one.
Strike one. I mean, a big strike one, too.
Huge strike one. I thought we'd just all those sweeping shots, like not a glimpse.
Not a glimpse.
So disappointing. I think I'm starting to think there's a reason now, a rhyme and reason why Andrew sometimes uses the W and doesn't in his name. This one did not have the W.
Oh, so you think if you go back and look at his movies,
If there's a W, I feel like
is
there's
the
a
ones
little.
he stands by.
He
You don't
stamped
think
it.
Where he's supposed to
stamping
be
it
an
with the W.
academic.
You don't think he stamps?
I don't think he stamped this one. I
You
think
don't think he passport stamped
I don't
it?
think we took a W on this one.
You think he went all the way to Malta to not stamp
I think
it?
he went all the way to Malta to go to Malta.
I think he went to Malta and that's where it stopped. I think he was trying to do something. He had the beard.
We said this while we were watching.
Oh,
He's
really?
trying to do
He
something.
was. He's playing with the glasses. He's doing this
Yeah.
whole thing. He's putting them in his shirt.
He's got a bit of a. He's a character.
Yeah, he's being a little stiff. He's getting really excited about the plaster and the fresco. He did squeeze in a little shirt off situation.
Little tank top.
A little too ripped for an academic, I would say.
Yeah, dude.
Are you kidding me right
Way
now?
too ripped for an academic.
Yeah,
My
out there lifting. Like, I know he's out there in the field lifting rocks and what
Yeah,
have
he's
you,
lifting
but,
rocks in the field all the time.
but
yeah,
come on, Andrew.
he was yoked.
Man, still didn't. It helped the movie, I would say. So it was a little too boring for me.
What?
Which is, I mean, like you say, it's like the queen bee of sins in these movies is to be boring, and so
I say that all the time. It's the queen bee
yeah,
of sins.
yeah. So
Who's that? Is that Queen Bee?
yes. Oh no, you
Oh
got her.
no! Oh
Somebody
no!
swat her out of here.
What's up, everybody?
Queen Bee, how's it going?
It's going so good. Thank you so much.
I heard beforehand, and we get a little press. We get an email about things we can and can't ask you.
Yeah.
That I'm supposed
Don't
to.
you do it?
No, I wouldn't. I'm supposed to call you by a certain name, like a certain like. It's not her royalty. What is it that I'm supposed to call you? I can't remember it.
You're asking me?
Yes,
Look,
It
you
is
know what people call you all the time.
Beyonce.
Beyonce.
Yeah.
Okay,
That's a cute little
I'm not
pet
going to
name.
do that.
So see, Beyonce,
Yeah.
the fans of Beyonce call her Queen Bee. So since I'm the Queen Bee, I make them call me Beyonce. It's a switcheroo.
Your voice is getting less.
I've lost it. I've lost the plot.
The queen bee can't talk too much.
Gotta be last.
Yep. Be last, blast.
Okay, all right.
So yeah, just a little too boring.
Yeah.
for me.
Her Majesty. That's good. Thanks, John.
Majesty, all
Her
right.
Her
Majesty.
Majesty. I love it. Yeah.
So that's where I landed on this one.
Oh, where he landed.
Fair enough. First of all, let's. You said it, Bri. Andrew Walker, a national treasure, and he looks great. Looks great with the glasses on. Looks great with the glasses off.
Anytime
looks good with
Brand
the
says
shirt
somebody's
on.
a
Looks
national
great with
treasure,
the shirt off.
You know what's coming next.
By golly, this movie was not hard to look at. Thanks to that guy. It was hard to pay attention to though. Boy, I just there's people I think by now know a lot about me. I think, and it's not much of a secret that I don't really like learning, and that's not what I'm here for. And boy, you learned so much in this movie. This movie was part movie, part documentary about bees, and fresco.
Yeah.
Different than fresco.
Yeah, it's different
which
than
is
drink.
if you were talking about frescas, I'd be interested. And so,
You'd rather hear the history of Fresca than Fresco.
are you kidding me? Is it a soda? Is it juice? Freaking, I don't know. So this movie was a bit too educational for my liking. But there's some things that are still, I thought that the two leads were I liked him with her. I don't know who she is, but I liked her. And the kisses were solid. And the muscles were there. And so overall, okay, but too smart for I couldn't keep up. Couldn't keep up with all this. And that's the reason why I do this and not that.
This is the reason you
Dan?
do this and not that.
Yeah, that's the reason.
Both of these guys who are here to tell you they liked the movie both said Andrew Walker looks great. The movie sucks. I don't know what else I can tell you. This is just unfortunate. It seems as though it's a waste of Malta. It's definitely a waste of Andrew Walker's time. This movie's boring. And I kind of weirdly blame us a little bit.
Uh-oh.
Oh, no.
I think
How do you
not,
do that?
Not just the entity deck, the Hallmark, but I think new Hallmark plus a lot of podcasts where people pick apart these movies have led Hallmark to trying to write smarter movies that have it's still 4 minutes long, something like that. And it still has all the beats of a Hallmark movie, but they double back to cover their bases on all the facts and everything. And what happens is you get a movie that is just so incredibly boring because it is loaded to the gills with fun facts, plots, and reasons they're doing the thing that they're doing. Like this movie, if you took out all the scenes where they explained what they were doing, explained why they were doing it, you would have 30 minutes left. We
could show Popeye's Village with.
Yeah,
Oh
we
my
could have shown
gosh, can you
Popeye's
imagine?
Village. But we hate, Brandon
spinach.
said this first, but he's 100% right. We found this old trinket or old thing, and now we have to find the mystery behind the thing. Hallmark does that so poorly. This is that movie plus beekeeping. That's what this is. And it's atrocious. And Andrew Walker as an academic, dude is the best in the game at being the Hallmark everyman. No one is better. I've said it on the podcast before. Tyler Hines is not as good as Andrew Walker at being the everyman of Hallmark. The dude who looks great, perfectly symmetrical, has a great smile, can have chemistry with any leading lady. You don't need to make this guy a history professor in Malta. It doesn't make any sense. It was too smart for its own good, and it was boring, so hard to pay attention. It's a bottom 5 for me. It's really a bad movie.
Bottom 5?
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
sure?
Yep, I am.
Okay. It's time for All the Feels. It is where we share exactly the feels
Andrew
that we
Walker
had.
in the tank
while-
top. I think we all got it right.
Obviously.
Yeah, let's. I do want to hear
Probably go
Brian's
through the
thoughts on
motions.
this.
Okay, we
'cause
should at least yes.
I know Malta is near and dear to your heart for again reasons I can't understand or want to try to.
Sure.
But did you get any? You complained a bit about Popeye.
Yeah, the lack of
Popeye's Village.
Yeah.
Did you get any feels from Malta in this, or any other feels? By chance?
I got feels from. I liked her car a lot. That old. I don't know if that was like an old, like a Zuzu Tracker or like a really early model Jeep Wrangler
pedals.
CJ.
No, Isuzu, not Azuzu.
Isuzu. Isuzu.
It's a Zuzu.
Isuzu. It was
Chevy and Geo and
cool.
Isuzu all made a tracker, and it could have. They were like the same car.
They're so they just look like a little roller skate.
Yeah.
They're so fun to look. Like, it looks so fun.
roller skate.
And also, so that was fun to watch. The other thing I love is teaching somebody who doesn't know the language a phrase that's wrong. Usually, almost always works for me. I got a kick out of that. When he said, "I smell like fish" a couple times, that's pretty funny. Yeah, man.
Listen, whoever's idea it was to have Andrew Walker move rocks in a tank top, like you get a raise. Like a marvel to behold. It was wonderful. It was captivating. More of that, less of the fresca. And I think we would have had ourselves a real good time.
The fact that guy is, I think he's getting older. I don't know if
It's
time works for him the way
impossible
it
to
does for the rest of us, but he looks like he's in better shape somehow.
100%.
Which I don't know how he
It's
does it.
almost like
It's
all those guys that are like, hey, like, take care of your body. It's like they're onto something.
No,
And
that
I
can't
don't,
be it.
it doesn't track for me. I think that's definitely more
Like they're
Like-
talking over you.
like
Not-
genetic.
not-
I think it's more
What's
genetic.
wild is like we've talked to some actors on this show who not only are big into health, but they like push it on you a lot. Andrew Walker is the opposite of that. He has all of these things he's doing for his body, but then he'll go, we went out to eat during Bramblefest, and he'll go out to eat, and he'll be like, what do you got there, Dan? Oh my goodness, that steak looks amazing. Like, he's like not the dude who makes you feel bad. He's the guy that's just thrilled for you regardless. That's how nice of a guy he is. But you know he's got all kinds of like, I'm not going to eat after sundown, or I'm not going to blah, blah, blah. Like, he's got 1,000 of those. You know he does.
He'll do an espresso martini though.
Yeah. Yeah, he's
So there
down.
you
He's
go.
down a clown.
He is down to clown.
Yeah. Let's take a quick break. We'll take a quick break. We'll come back with the Wait What and the What the Hallmarks here on Deck the Hallmark.
Sorry.
That's okay.
Tried to go flat on it.
We're back. Aaron, how's it going? Oh, no. She's
She took
She
off.
just-
that's a cool chair.
Early lunch.
It is
a cool chair.
Yeah, she did take an early lunch.
She took an early lunch. She took an
I
early
was
lunch.
kind of mean to her earlier, and so I think she was about to call me a name, and instead she decided to just
call
take
it a
off.
day.
Yeah,
Well, it's
call
5
it a day.
o'clock
That's
somewhere. Might as
exactly
well.
right. Yeah.
We're talking Love and Honey for those of you that are joining us halfway through somehow.
Welcome.
It's great to see you. I saluted you so that you know I care. It's
Stamped it.
This is what Philo's worth right here. One of those.
That's right. It's time for the Wait What It is, where we share what in this movie made us go, wait, what? And aside from the lack of Popeye's Village
Sure, I
and
won't
anything else,
mention it. I won't mention
Brian,
it
make
again.
you go, wait, what?
Yeah. When she first walks into the library where Andrew he's working at the table, she knocks an ancient book off the table. That book looked so old.
This whole movie
With
is
the
filled
disrespect.
with
Yeah.
disrespect to ancient or
Yeah.
air quotes ancient stuff. The whole movie.
Yeah, just
But that one's real bad.
that was just
Yeah.
ridiculous. It had to be.
And you can't do that
priceless.
before tenure. Before tenure.
No.
Before
No.
tenure.
Before tenure. Once you
Once
get-
you
once
get
you get
tenure,
tenure,
you can knock
you're
any
good to
books
go.
you want to off
So
the
that,
table.
but you're right, and I laughed out loud with the look at this ancient pottery just on the ground, and just the amount of scraping
Dude,
that's
we
done
can
to
talk about it now.
surfaces.
He picks up what, if you've not seen the film, he picks up what I can only describe as the handle to a coffee mug you would buy in a gift shop. I don't know how, like,
Yeah.
it isn't ancient. It isn't pottery. It is a handle to a coffee mug that you would have in your house right now. And he looks at it with his bare hands on it and he goes, it's ancient pottery.
Yes.
Bro, it's neither of those two things.
Oh, it's so funny.
It is just crazy.
So funny, and just always picking something up and just scraping at it real hard.
Yeah,
no
yeah.
dusting
Yeah,
of
yeah,
anything. Using
And they-
hands.
She scrapes too hard on that wall, and they see it as a
Yes.
painting, and they're like, "Let's get our bare hand scrapers
That's
out
right.
and go to town
That's
on
right.
that bad boy."
Just oils from your fingers
Oh,
all
don't worry
over.
about it.
So,
Yeah, yeah.
oh man, it was great. The mayor just putting her in charge of the archaeologists, just hey,
You know,
you watch
gotta do what you gotta
him,
do.
and just I don't. It just didn't make any sense, and there was no other reason for it except for him just saying, "I don't know you, so you babysit him." The box in his picture is so obvious that it's a hive, that it's a beehive. Like he's looking. It's got the little hole in the top. It's got everything that a beehive has.
Bee box.
Yeah, a bee box. There we go. And
bee box.
Yeah, bee box. So it's just sort of like I wish she even said like, you know what that kind of looks like? Like just any type of recognition would have been great. And just the line, this was just so great. I wasted so much time with you. When he said that,
I can't believe a lead has ever said that in a Hallmark movie.
It was like we need to immediately cause the problem. Like we have run out of time, and so it's like he might as well have just.
Like, didn't he double down on it too?
He did.
Yes.
She's like,
yes.
so you think that it was
kept
just
going.
Waste of time? He's like, yeah.
Yes, and I'll be like,
but
and I'm waiting for him to be like, now I know why your husband left you. Are you gonna? Do you want to run a comb through that hair? Like, go through every line. I couldn't believe it. It was just so egregious and brutal, and it just was like they just needed to do it right then. There was no other. It was just so funny to do it that way. And yeah, it just didn't give a care about preservation whatsoever.
Worst archaeologist ever.
Yeah. So I've thought about this before because this happens on a regular basis where somebody in one of these movies will come up behind somebody and say something and they'll get scared and then they'll be like, why
rip a whole wall off?
Why? Well, yes, that but then she turns to him and is like, why didn't you warn me? And like, how can you tell someone you're there?
Right.
In a way that wouldn't startle them. Because it's not like he went up and went, bah! Like he just said, hey, and that scared her. And she said, why didn't you warn me? Like what, like, do you want me to throw sand at you? Like how did she want to be warned that would not scare her? Because again, he wasn't dressed up in a Halloween costume. He wasn't out there trying to like, scary houser, like spooker. She's
scary houser. He wasn't trying to scary house or spooker. Hey, maybe that's how you do it, Brandon.
I'm not trying to scary house you.
Listen, I'm not trying to. This isn't a scary house situation. I'm not trying to scary house you here.
He should have been like,
I'm not trying to scary house you. You trying to scary house me?
You trying to scary house? You scary housed me.
I'm not trying to. That's the thing. Like I'm just trying to.
You're a spooker.
No,
scary housed me.
I'm not scary housing anyone. I'm just here to say, hey, man.
And you want 10-10.
So I do want 10-10. Dude, the podcast 10-10 is nuts.
Handing out 10-10 to everybody.
So it's just like, I know you're
you scary housed her, unfortunately.
Your disqualification for 10-10 there.
Your back is to someone.
Back of the line.
Like he could have done way worse. You're on a ladder. He could have gone up there and just been like, kick the ladder. Like could have done so many things. He was just like, hey, man. He wasn't trying to scary house you. Like there's, I don't think he could have warned you anymore if he tried. I'm not trying to scary house you. Listen. I don't know anything about cars. Dan and I were just talking about this. Actually,
that's true.
I do think the one universal thing that people know about cars is that they need oil changes on a regular basis. Yep. I think that is the one thing that even I can be like, oh. I'll be darned. It's oil change time. They freaking put a sticker up there. So your boy can't forget.
Stare at it the whole time.
I'm staring. I look at that sucker every time. So for her to be like, that's like just a recommendation. She's like so emphatic that she doesn't need an oil change despite never getting one.
That's where they get you. They tell you
you need it. You don't need an oil change. When they do the rock thing and they move the rocks out of the way, she's like, I got a lantern in the truck. Why?
Yeah, they did nothing.
And it's not helpful because he has a flashlight. So when he walks around the corner and he has a flashlight, I'm like, oh, that's what lantern means, flashlight. And where
Maltese,
no, she actually had a lantern and it did very little. But good thing you have lantern in truck. In case, you break down. Of course. Oil change. Dano?
We covered a lot of the archaeologist stuff, but just put some gloves on.
Yeah.
I think a lot of that is fixed if you just put some gloves on.
Yeah.
Especially when you get underneath in the cave down there under the rocks.
Untouched. Yeah.
I mean, this is stuff that's been sitting there presumably for 400 years. Mm-hmm. Put some gloves on. Speaking of gloveless activities, he opens a jar. It could be anything. And she's like, what do we got going on doing there?
Scorpions.
She's just like, well, let me get a quick little taste, just in case. Like, look, I'm not. Look,
Hey, it's 5 o'clock somewhere.
Look, I can,
Dan,
yeah, that's
okay?
right. I can pay off my
What do you
tab
get?
for myself in a
What's she
cab.
gonna do?
What would Jimmy Buffett do? Say, kill yourself by sticking your finger in a 400-year-old jar that could be anything. Look, I'm not. Look, you know honey better than I do, lady. But just wait till you get outside. Wait
So
till you-
demeaning. I know. Like you were complimenting her, but
Wait till you get out in the sun so you can see what's in the jar before
nah,
you
dude,
decide.
I can touch that
Yeah.
and know right
That's
away
right.
if this honey is fit for eating.
Speaking of, we talked about Andrew Walker and how much he takes care of his body. The most unbelievable scene in this movie is watching Andrew Walker. Go back and take it to the tape. Try to enjoy a piece of white bread. He has to eat white bread in this movie, which I know because I know Andrew pretty well. He doesn't. No. Are you kidding me right now? He's not going to yuck your yum, but he ain't eating no white bread. And he is like, she's like chomping down on this thing, and he's chewing one piece for a while, and he's just like it's killing my insides. Like you can see it, and it's fantastic. It's great cinema. You need to go back and check that out. He needs to go into town to get some infrared machine, and she's like, the car's fixed, and he's like, well, I'm going to get a ride into town. She's like, well, I can't take you, and he's like, well, I just didn't know if you wanted to take me, and she's like, just because we kissed. It is the weirdest conversation I've seen in one of these movies, and it appears that they're mad at each other, and then they get in the car, and then they arrive in town, and it's like it never happened. They get out of the car, and it's just like we're laughing, we're hanging out, and
I'll just say this: that is the power of infrared machines.
It
If
is.
you've
You're
never
right, that's true. But they don't have one yet,
messed around, no, but I think you get into town, you start setting
right.
up the magic of the infrared, and you're like, "Holy
setting it
cow!
up. That's right.
What is this tech?
Yeah.
Why is this like something that exists? It shouldn't exist, and yet
Yeah.
it does." You're telling me I can snap a picture of something and see what's behind the thing that I'm looking at? That's wild. That if you're ever in a tough for me to you, if you're ever in a tough relationship
Thanks for
and like
going to one
things
there, Aaron.
things aren't going well, things aren't going well, things aren't going well. Like, hey, here's a blessing for you. Go rent an infrared machine and just have yourself a date night and get weird with it.
She infrared his heart.
just cut that. That'd be great. She infrared what? What was that?
Not his heart. Or
Oh, she
his
infrared his
mind
heart.
or feelings.
Nicely
you know,
done.
yeah.
Yeah, it's good.
I will
It's good.
say the other thing about this movie that drove me nuts is they clearly just run out of time. When they get into the cave and find all this old stuff, there's 6 minutes left in the movie. The last 6 minutes, fast and furious. They just go through really, really quickly. And then last but not least, clearly at the Maltese market, the booth is being closed as just an honor system situation.
Yeah.
You just have all this honey for sale.
Yeah.
You put a closed sign on that bad boy. No one in Malta is going to touch your honey.
It's closed.
It's closed. They see it's closed in English. They see that. They're not going to grab honey and walk with it. Nobody would do that. Not in Malta anyway. It's an honor system sitch. We've got to go. News came in on the fresco. We got to go. We just can't deal with this right now.
Dude, news came in on the fresco.
News came in on the
that's right.
fresco. I don't know what to tell you. We got spooky house.
Yeah, scary house. Thank you very much.
Scary house.
Got spooked at the scary
Aaron
house.
spooked to the scary house. Saw him live.
It's time for What the Hallmark It is, where we wonder what could have been, maybe having some clarity, any questions that we still have. Brian!
Yep.
What
Still
are you
here.
wondering about, pal?
Yeah, so they had 2 daughters, right? They were sisters.
Yes.
One apiary. Only one daughter got the apiary. What up with that? Like, why didn't both daughters get it? Like, the mom gave it to one.
Maybe the other daughter got something else.
Maybe. But then she ended up with half the apiary anyway. So I don't know. I'm just wondering, was she upset about that? Was that intentional? Did the daughter not even care at the time about the apiary? She's off doing her MBA. I don't know.
Maybe
just
they
a
had
weird.
maybe they had another apiary. Maybe
Two,
they had
yeah.
a hotel. Maybe they had
she got
something else.
I hope so
Then
for
they
her
were like,
sake.
we'll give
But
this one the apiary and
Yeah.
this one gets something else. But
I
that's
hope
weird.
so.
Yes.
Yeah, it's a little weird. So how's that?
Yeah, you said it.
Yeah.
Pretty good, dude.
And I actually know what apiaries are. If anyone wants
That's
to,
so
like,
hard to believe.
if anybody's like, "Hey, Brand, like, can you give me something about apiary?" and I'll be like, "I got so many things.
Yeah, so pick one.
I got so many things about apiaries that I could tell you about them, like what they are, and
Yeah.
Of course.
how they
Who gets them.
operate,
Yeah.
and,
All of that.
how they taste. No,
No.
What is
Things in them
taste like? I can tell you
you
that
got it.
too.
You're trying to trick us, weren't you?
I'm trying to.
Yeah.
It was a scary
Good
house.
job.
It's a little bit of scary house.
Scary
there.
house.
Scary house.
A little bit of scary house there. So the big discovery here is
Was yours? What's an apiary? Come
No,
on, bro. Okay.
no. Because
still the apiary.
you know me, and I'll talk to you about it afterwards.
Sure, absolutely.
But I know them. Like I'm
Scary
huge.
house with decoration.
I'm huge on them. They find this tunnel, rocks, tunnels, goes down theirs, and in the tunnel, 1 jar honey, empty box, no bees.
Yeah.
And like, oh no, like what happens then? Like they get
What's an apiary?
No, it wasn't. My legit one is what happens after that. That does find, like, obviously he has to finish his research, get 1010, all that good stuff. But like it just isn't a lot down there. It's jar honey, empty box.
It's jar of honey empty box.
Jar honey,
Yeah.
1 jar honey,
That's no
1
apiary.
empty box. That is no apiary. You're so
it's
right.
not.
Had it been, then we would talk. Like that seems tenure worthy. I don't know. I just still have it. They just say 1 month later, and then like that's it, and it's like, all right, I guess it was good enough because now he's on Sab. So
Yep.
He's on Sab.
Sab.
Yeah.
Sabbatical. Got it.
Sabbatical.
Sabbath.
Yeah.
That's what you get on 1010.
Yeah.
Yeah, you get 10-10 and immediately get Sab.
1010 Sab combo.
Yeah.
Honestly,
I've been working on tenure here for a while.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
yeah,
You're
too.
definitely still in the mix, I hear.
Yeah, I think so.
I think you're in a 10-10 mix.
Yeah.
Dan?
Mine is about 1010. He says at one point, I have to publish a new finding or I lose out on tenure. And I've never had tenure before. I was under the assumption that tenure is the thing professors get where the job basically can't be revoked from them. And the way they get it is by a certain number of years of service or by completing something where you're evaluated by someone on tenure. Basically, am I to understand this correctly? They told Andrew Walker's character, you need to go to Malta and you have to find something new. If you don't find anything new in archaeology, then you don't get tenure? Is that the way I'm to understand that?
Yeah.
It sounds like
Is
it.
his tenure was based on finding new historical evidence in an ancient civilization?
You find, everyone knows this, you find 1 jar honey, 1 empty box,
Empty
you get
box
10-10.
and an apiary, you're good to go. I just, like, you can go and say, hey, you have to publish a new report on what you found. But the way that he says it is if I don't find something new, I'm out for tenure. I don't get it.
What's an apiary? It isn't working.
You have to say
Even
Siri
Siri's
first?
like,
What's
I'm
an
not-
apiary? It's not working.
all right,
It doesn't know.
What?
please don't.
Is.
What's
Don't do it.
It's time for Double Decker of the Week.
Guess you'll never know.
Oh, I know why. It's because it's connected to my my Schnaggle. There.
Bluetooth.
Yep.
What's
Second
an
listen.
apiary? There we go. That says hey. Okay, so it's not going to work right now. It's time for Double Decker of the Week is where we dive deep into the life of one of the double deckers. If you can do that by signing up for BramblejamPlus.com at the double decker tier or all access. You get so much with all access,
You
by
get
the
so
way.
much with all access.
It's
Take
really
it to the tape.
take it to the tape.
Lunch
Every
with
single
the
episode.
boys.
It's a ton of fun.
Might end up as a host on the show.
That actually is how you got there.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah,
our
that's how
next
that
our
happens.
next employee will be a double decker.
That's right. And
And our Bramble are all access.
And up
our
next-
other 2 employees have been
Up next is some clown named Mike Thompson. Mike Thompson. Is that right, Dan? Mike Thompson?
I guess Mike Thompson. Yeah, I
we're
had an
hearing?
uncle named Mike Thompson, but that's not him.
Could be anybody. Could
No,
be
my
anybody.
uncle's passed away. It's definitely not Mike Thompson.
Somebody probably took
My
his
uncle Mike
identity.
Thompson.
So you don't believe in ghosts?
I do
Say-
not believe in ghosts.
Oh, man. You believe in apiaries, though?
Yeah, of course I do.
That tells you everything you need to know about what that is.
Yeah.
So
Mike-
Brian, you did a deep dive into Mike Thompson.
Sure did.
No relation.
No relation.
I guess not. I was down the wrong path for quite a while.
Okay,
on
yeah.
this one, but I straightened it out. I figured out the
You
dark
would know
web.
my other Uncle Mike worked for
Yeah, Cisco,
Pepsi. Close.
Yeah,
PepsiCo, yes.
absolutely. He would wave to the Cisco trucks.
Yeah, he
Yeah,
Right,
Danny
right.
Pepsi.
Danny Pepsi, yes, of course.
So yeah, Mike, off to New Year. Well, I guess we're halfway through the New Year, aren't we? Here, starting a new venture here in 2024. It's like a fusion of exercise and food and eating. Something that's been tried before. You know, you put together two great things: exercise and food.
Yeah, of course.
Doesn't really work, but I think this one's gonna work for Mike. While you're on the move, you get to eat.
Okay.
And so this little thing, it's a little thing we like to call walk this way. Okay. So stick with me.
Okay.
Guys,
You
okay?
Walk this way.
Walk this way.
Like the
So-
Run DMC song?
No,
Aerosmith
no,
song?
not even close. They're not into walking like this.
What
this is you gather your friends or a friend or yourself, say, I'm gonna go get some exercise, go for a walk. As you're walking,
So
you
just really quick, so you
Yeah.
can do this with friends,
Friends?
plural, singular
Singular,
friend, or by yourself.
or yourself. Or,
No,
no, it covers all the bases,
Okay, great.
really. Any size group, almost any size group.
Any
Well,
size, I was
we're
about to say,
scaling. We're
yeah, okay,
scaling.
okay, okay.
We're not
again,
at
you
scale.
said we, and I
That's
don't.
right.
Well, we'll get there. Walk this way it's sort of like a service where you're walking, you're doing your exercise, and right next to you, somebody just stir frying any meal you'd want. They got all the
So
ingredients.
it's walking,
for it.
Walk.
and then
They're-
walk.
You're walking,
W-O-K.
and
How are they
somebody's-
using a walk and going at the same? It's got to stay hot.
We're harvesting the power of the sun mostly.
It's a solar powered
it's-
walk machine.
That's the technology here that we're.
That's the thing you should.
That's-
Whatever the weird tie-in with being
Well,
next
that's how
to
you
somebody
get-
who's walking.
Yeah, you don't need that as much as just the sun.
You have
really.
a product.
Yeah, it is a product, but it's something we're really looking at. We collectively here looking to get this to the next level. So the more sun we get, the better.
Again, I'm just
Yeah.
real intrigued by the tech here.
Yeah.
There is a pan
A walk.
that has how is it being powered by
Yeah,
the
this
sun?
is like a little panel. Okay,
there's
so
a solar
okay.
panel.
Okay,
Yeah.
and so the solar panel is, which is pretty heavy. Actually, you got to do a little help while you're
Okay,
walking. A big part of this is as you're walking along, you do have to kind of help carry this panel on your back. Pretty heavy.
Wow.
Yeah. So this
Wait,
is
so
the
you need
part.
a full back-size solar panel to
Yeah, it's a little
Power
smaller
the
than
wok?
like a Tesla battery. The woks, you'd be surprised to saute an onion properly. The amount of heat you need. So what we're doing is trying to. It's a big part of the energy from the walking and the sun
The walking,
and
yes.
and the walking going on.
There's another one. They do the popcorn right for the runners. It's
Yeah.
called Corn to Run.
Yeah.
Right. So you have walk this way. You have Corn to Run.
yeah, and
We've got
so
a-
it's like a
They're
festival.
all, they're all rock and roll
yeah,
themed
rock and roll.
songs for exercise.
I love that one.
Is that the way I understand it?
Yes, you got it. You got it.
And the
You
same
nailed it,
solar
man.
powered thing that's popping the corn.
Yeah, that's the popcorn. Surprisingly, pops a lot easier. So that might be the track.
There's another
we
one
go
that's
on.
Limp Biscuit, and anytime you're injured
No.
and you're limping along,
Yep.
there's something about that creates a biscuit and just pops
It's,
right
well,
on
it's
out.
right. The same thing
It's
that's
right,
running
the
along.
same
It's
thing.
this. It's
Yeah.
the.
But it's for people that are
intellectual
injured.
property.
It's for people that are injured.
That are injured somehow. Yeah. That's
Intellectual
exactly right.
property. Yeah.
This sounds great. It sounds.
I think
sounds
it's the
unbelievable.
future. Really.
really intrigued by the tech, less intrigued by the business you explained. But I think there's something there.
We have Mike Thompson to thank for it.
Yeah. Mike, thank you,
Absolutely,
Mike.
we do. Guess what, everybody? We're going to be back tomorrow. When Calls to Heart still going on, if you can believe it. Still got a few more weeks of that. Then Thursday, Patrick's going to be joining us for a Deck the Lifetime in Court. Friday, you're going to have to find out. You're going to have to find
you are.
out. Until then, maybe we're
an
the first to
apiary.
wish you a Merry Christmas.
Deck the Hallmark's a Bramble Jam
That's
podcast
an
is
AP.
produced by Aaron Shea. For more information on Deck the Hallmark, you can go to deckthehallmark.com. For more information on the Deck the Hallmark family, you can go to bramblejamplus.com. Deck the Hallmark is presented by Philo TV. For a free trial of Philo, go to philo.tv/DTH.